So here are some cards that I've made using the new Papermania cards by Doe Crafts. There's 4 different designs. They've got the lattice work there, the garden shed lattice effect, the circle and the other window one as well. The cards actually come like this. It's a good quality cardstock in white, and you can colour them or distress them or do anything you like with them, and I'll show you some finished samples. Here's one I've done where I've actually used distress inks around the actual lattice work there, around the front of the card. I've stamped up an image which I've coloured and put on foam pads. I've used some of the stamps in the corners. I've used a piece of the paper in the background and then another stamped message on the front. Here is another lattice work card that I've done, so it looks like a view out of the window. I've put some of the Hanovarian paper on the outside, a bit of distress ink around the edge, and it looks like you're looking through a window at a scene into a garden. Same card I've done again with some distress inks around the edge just to soften it. I've used some Hanovarian paper in the background, used up some of the stamps to do a message, and used the individual stamps that come, and I've used different coloured inks to do like a pattern all around the outside of the card. Here's another card using the circular one. I've kept this one very simple, so I've stamped a message on the inside, used the stamps to do a type of wreath type border on the outside edge, little stamps in the corners. And here's the same card. This time I've used some Promarkers just to colour the inside. I've used some Hanovarian paper on the inside with some glossy accents on, and again I've used some of the little stamps. This time it's the insect stamps, and again just on the ladybirds a little bit of the glossy accents. Another one of the window frame cards. I've got one of the Country Companion pictures in the background, and I've just gone around the frame with some of the papers. And then finally, just to show a completely different look to the same cardstock, distress inks around the edge. I've actually stamped the branch on the inside of the card. I've stamped the bird on a separate card and cut it out and laid it up with a foam pad, and then I've cut out some of the leaf stamped images which I've coloured with distress inks, and again used foam pads to stand them out. So that's just a few ideas of some of the things you can do with these cards. So I do hope you have fun with them. Hello, it's Sarah here, and today I'm going to show you how to use some of the new Trellis cards by Papermania. Along with them I shall be using the new Papermania stamps, the Hanovarian ones. They're very small stamps, just on a little wooden handle like that. Sometimes people look at these cards and are a little bit perplexed as to what to do with them, so I'm just going to give you a few little ideas. So with these cards rather, you've got the circle one, we've got 2 different styles of window lattice, and then the garden one. So I'm just going to show you this circular one here, what I'm going to do. You can use your Promarker pens. I'm going to use the Versafine ink pad, and I also have a couple of the colours of the distress inks. So I'll just show you what we do. A good idea is to have a scrap of paper as well, because then what you can do is, with the different images, if you want them all facing up in the right direction, if you ink up first and then stamp onto a scrap piece of paper, you know which way your image is going. Now I'm not worried about my images on this one, I'm just going to be stamping randomly. So I'm picking up my one stamp, just inking it up and just stamping randomly like that around the card, just like that. You don't really have to think about it. So I feel that's enough of that little pattern, so I'll put that to one side. I'm going to pick up another one and just stamp that one. This one's a ladybird, and it's quite nice that if you've used the ladybird and if you felt you wanted to colour it in, you could use a little bit of glossy accent over the top, which gives a nice appearance. I'm going to swap again. This time I'm using a dragonfly. So all the way around, just randomly stamping, and basically what you're doing is you are actually making your own background paper, so you can use this on other cards as well. It's swap again. This is a different type of butterfly, and straight away you can see that we've actually transformed the front of this card. Another little one now, I think this is a little snail. If you wanted, you could do lines of the same stamp if you wanted to create like a particular type of border. Now I'm going to leave that like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my distress inks. So I'm going to use scattered straw. I've used my cut and dry foam, which I've just cut into a little shape, and I've actually written on the back there the colour. So I'm just going to pick up the colour and I start on my mat and I just rub it gently. And you'll see that what it's doing is it's actually colouring my paper. So I go all the way round like that. And keep going. Just building up the colour. Now of course you can use whatever colour variation you want to go for, but I quite like this sort of mustard colour. It's quite warm, especially in this cold weather. So that's that one. And then I'm going to use a bit of the peeled paint. Right, and again I'm just going to go along the edge, and you can see how it's just transforming the cardstock. Go all the way around like that. And it's given a very sort of vintagey look to the card. Go around like that. Now what you could do is I'm going to open that up and use my scrap paper in there. With my Promarker, I'm actually just going to colour the edges. I've used the finer tip. You could go for the thicker end if you wanted. So just colours it nicely. It makes it look a bit more solid. Just go all the way around. And there's lots of ideas you could do, because again you could use your glossy accents on here so it looks like a enamelled finish if you like, which would be really nice. Right. So from a very plain card, right, so imagine you've got a plain card like that and you end up with something like that, then you can either put papers in the background, or you could stamp an image, you could put a greeting, a sentiment of some sort, or a flower. And basically that's your card done, just using the little stamps and one of these trellis cards. So I hope you have fun with those. I'm just going to show you another idea with these stamps. What you could do is you can actually use the stamp and the thicker end of your Promarker and just colour the end there. And I'll just show you a piece of scrap paper first of all. If you can see there, we've actually stamped up the image. So you could actually, if you've got an image behind there coloured with your Promarkers, you can do all your patterning on the outside with the same colours. So ink it up, stamp it. Takes a little bit longer obviously if you're using these pens, but if you want all your colour scheme to match, that's a way of doing it. Then you can go back to your Versafine if you wish and ink that up, and this time I'm just doing a little bit of a border around the actual trellis window to give it a different look. And perhaps I'll go for one more. This time I'll try, we'll go for the little ladybird, but it's going to be a bit unusual because I'm going to have a green ladybird. I know you don't normally. So ladybird, just there. This time I've stamped it with distress inks. I have a little row of them going down there, and then again on the other side. Stamp them all. Again, if you wanted to afterwards, you could use your glossy accents on the top, or you could colour them in with your Promarkers or any other colouring mediums that you've got, or just indeed leave it blank. So once again, those are our two different ideas. There you go, just a couple of ideas of what you can do with these stamps and the trellis cards, the new Papermania ones. Thank you.